What's going on, everyone? This is Vince from Life with Vince Liu, coming back at you with another episode of BJJ Blue Belt Chronicles, where I document my journey as a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Blue Belt. So in today's episode, I want to talk about my mindset going into Jiu-Jitsu. So specifically, my mindset going to class, and then my mindset during rolling and or sparring. So with that being said, my mindset going into class, I really try to be a sponge. And the reason I try to be a sponge is, and I made this comparison a few weeks ago, is that right now I feel like I am in second or third grade and I know the alphabet and I could chain the letters together to formulate words and even a few sentences, but I don't have 100% command of the English spoken language yet. So, or in other words, jiu-jitsu. So I really try to be a sponge whenever I go into class, whenever anyone is telling me anything about jiu-jitsu, of a certain move, of the lifestyle, or just anything around that space. So when I'm in class and the professor is teaching and he's, explaining why a certain move works, or I notice his foot's there or his arms there, I really try to soak that all in, and not only soak it all in, but think about it afterwards as well. Because for me, I'm the type of learner that really likes to understand why a movement works and how it works. Not just saying, hey, this is how we're going to do it and that's it. But if you can explain to me, oh, if you can get his hips off the ground, then that means that his base isn't strong, and then you can sweep him. That stuff makes way more sense to me. And if you put your hand here, hand there, or if their legs there, if you can explain all that and the leverage points, it really makes my life a lot easier, and that's the way that I personally like to learn. So with that as well, it's not only the higher belts that, feed me this information, but sometimes it's lower belts, white belts, blue belts, purple. I mean, it's everyone. And I don't discount the lower belts telling me something, but I really try to understand why. It's like, okay, where did he get that from? Maybe he got it from a video, maybe it's from YouTube, maybe it's from John Danaher's program that he bought, right? So I really try to understand why. And usually if I don't have, or when I do understand, or I think I get it, I like to also bring it to the black belt that I take privates with anyways. And I'll ask him like, hey, so-and-so brought this up the other day. They said this was a good armbar escape. What do you think about it? And then he will be able to break down the pros, the cons, whether if he prefers it or he doesn't. So that's one of the really good things about taking privates with a black belt, is that they can break down anything and everything for you, or they should be able to. And the person that I take privates with, they are able to break down for me how, what, and why it works. And that just helps me, learn a little bit better as well. But I digress. So with that, everyone has their style. And if I were to ask, 4 to 5 higher belts of an armbar escape, they might have 3 or 4, even 5 different answers, and it's what personally works for them. But I really try to take it all in, because if they're telling me that this is what they do, then there has to be some merit to it, and there's got to be a reason why they're telling me, because obviously it works for them, and I have to see that it works for me. So I sit there and think about it, and I take it back, go home, think about it, sleep, dream about it, think about it, and then even try it out a few different times to see if it works for me. And if it doesn't work for me, maybe I'm just doing it wrong, and then I can go back and ask them, and they can give me more feedback, and it's just a cycle. So be a sponge. I love being a sponge. So moving on to my mindset when I go into sparring or rolling. When I go into sparring or rolling, I'm not the overly aggressive type of roller. I'm more of a hobbyist than I am a competitor. So my mindset going into things, I'm not like, oh, I'm going to go for the kill. Usually I let things happen as they happen, or even sometimes I'll let things happen even I know I can push back and not get swept. When I'm going with someone, especially, you know, like skill level or even a lot lighter than me, I'll let them purposely sweep me or get me into a bad position so that, you know, that we can both learn. You know, I need to learn how to get out of those situations. And yes, I know that I shouldn't let things happen sometimes as they do, but I feel like even when I'm in those positions, it's a great learning experience for me, because I know that when I roll with higher belts, I know there's already a mutual understanding that they can submit me or kill me at any time that they want, but they let me play my game and they let me use the knowledge that I learned in class or in my private lessons. That's the time where I'm able to just experiment. And then I like to do that with the other person on the other side too, is that they're probably working on something, I'm probably working on something. So usually what I'm actually working on right now is just not getting submitted, right? I mean, I try not to go for, if the submission is there, I'll definitely go for it, but it's this weird thing that I like to be in these bad positions, and I kind of roll in the turtle and let my back get taken so I can learn how to get out of it, because the more comfortable that I am, you know, being okay being submitted, I feel like it's to my advantage. Though, you know, it's kind of a dichotomy. I definitely need to learn how to not be as passive and just be a little bit more aggressive. So that's definitely something for me to work on. So hope y'all enjoyed that video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, consider subscribing. Other than that, see y'all soon.